What's up, everybody? The final episode of the Maine Bugs series. It's been such a fun ride, but it is finally over. So this is an adult golden stonefly. This is a size 8 hook. This pattern calls for nothing less than size 8. This is the smallest I will go. It's essentially a flotation device for, dry dropper. You can do a chubby Chernobyl, which a lot of people do, and I know a lot of guides do, as for a dry dropper. But for this pattern, I'm specifically imitating a golden stone. So what I'm doing here is I'm just wrapping from the middle to the back some yellow dubbing, and then I have some yellow foam here, which I have cut at the end to sort of shape like a little butt, if you will. Right? That's going to be our butt. So essentially it's going to be laid down like this. This was 2mm, but I like 1mm. So what you're going to do, so I cut it in half, is cinch down that first butt section. I like to do 2 cinches on all my foam. With the dubbing that's down, it's really great. It barely, that foam is going nowhere. And so then I'll go to my next section, do the same thing. Should be about the same size, roughly. If it's not perfect, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Right? You're trying to get 4 or 5 sections. That would be ideal. 4 or 5 sections is perfect. So I'm pretty good with 4, but I'll get 1 more in here. Great. So there's our little body. Nice little segmented body. You can spend a lot of time trying to get this perfect, which that's cool with me if you want to do that, but you definitely do not have to get it perfect. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll just tie in this part here. Boom, just get it nice and secure there. And you're gonna add in some flash. I'm just a sucker for this purple. You could do silver or gold or red or orange or green or whatever you want. I don't really care. But for me, this purple, it just does things. So I use 8 strands on this pattern. So it's a little more flashy than, say, a stimulator. And I like that to extend about an eye length past the butt there. About an eye length past the butt. And if you really want to go crazy, feel free to toss in. Alright, why not? Feel free to toss in the extra. Because sometimes you feel like you're wasting it, So let's just go crazy. Okay, cool. So now I have that tied in. I'm going to add in a wing here. And this is just some Antron, some synthetic white plastic, basically. And that's going to be our wing. Make sure to get all those loose fibers out. Again, you can certainly go crazy with this, but you don't need it. I just want it to extend past the body, just barely. Okay. That looks pretty good. Great. So here we are. Just get everything secured here. Okay, so now you might be saying, boy, you got a long way to go here. I sure do. I'm going to fill in this little gap here with some yellow dubbing, just in case any peeks out. A lot of it will be covered, but a little bit will peek out, and so I want that to be this nice yellow dubbing. Great. So now we just have this about 1, maybe 2 eye lengths right in here. Nice dubbing ball. if you want, I don't, but right now you could put a pair of legs in aiming backwards. I do not do that, but some people do, and that's fine. If you want to add a little charisma to your fly, a little realistic, a lot of people will come in the top with some brown. Basically just adds a little contrast to it. And does this matter? No, probably not. But some people do it. Anyways, so you're going to take a decent clump, not too big, but not too small, of some deer hair. And here I have about that much. So like, I'd say a little thicker than a pencil, maybe a Sharpie. I'm going to go a Sharpie. Like, it's really important that you clean out. Usually I don't show this step, but it's really important that you clean out all these fuzzy fibers in the bottom here. Okay. It's also really important that you clean that up, that you stack it. So here I have a hair stacker. It's really important that all those tips are really, really aligned, because we are going to make a collar. Okay, so you see how my tips are nice and aligned? So essentially what's going to happen is I want these tips to be right about there. Yeah, right about there. So I have my tie-in point. Measure that up, that's good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie them in cinch them down, and then let them spin. So now what I have is essentially a 360 degree covering of deer hair all around this hook. I'm gonna go in and trim off. Might have to move the fly a little bit here, sorry. And see, okay, I'm pretty heavy on the bottom side, which is okay. I'm a little light on the top side. Again, not a huge deal. Okay, so now here's what we have. We have this nice fluffy front here. Again, you can keep pulling. You'll see it will spin, and I'm going to work backwards just to stop it from spinning. You can kind of work out the fibers in the front. Some of them will be bunched together. So I'll do this. Right, there's my little space, that little gap that I had. There's my little space. So be careful not to trap any fibers. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now what's going to happen is we're essentially going to make a bullet. We're going to make a, it's called a bullet tie-in point or whatever, but we're going to start working our fibers backwards to make this little bullet head. And you'll see once I catch it what happens. I'm going to do 2 ties and then cinch it nice and tight. You see we've made now a nice little bullet head. Now isn't this a neat looking fly? You're gonna want, this is, so I'll tell you a secret or a trick. You can put legs in right here as well. Once you've tied in that little bullet point, you can put legs in. It looks something like, I guess I can show you. But what I'm gonna say is you really want to use some heavy ass thread, like really heavy, because you really need force. You need a lot of force pulling down to make that bullet head. Okay, so you can put in legs like so. This is a really common thing out in the western, you know, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, whatever. Really common. So then I'll just come in on my bullet and go 1, 2, 3. I don't like to do too many wraps. I'll put a little thing of super glue on the tie-in point just because. Then I'll trim my legs, just give them a little trim. Try to even them up as much as possible. You know, you have something like that where you just have this. So here is, maybe I'll put in just a drop of super glue. Well, whatever. Here is our bullet stone. And I'm not the best at tying them, but I'm okay. And I like this pattern a lot. It floats really well. That's the biggest thing. So here's our fly. Oh, look at that. One fiber that I missed. No. No. Look at that little guy right there. Do you see that? Oh, that is devastating. Absolutely devastating. Golly. Anyways. Okay, so that wraps it up for our Maine Bugs series. And I really wanted to thank everyone who has stayed along this journey with me. If you want to find out more about the bugs and sort of where they come from, a little history, how to use them, when to use them, where to use them, that kind of thing, you can go and purchase the Maine Bugs series, which is on our website at maineflyguys.com. So thank you all for watching. I really, really appreciate it. We will continue to pump out patterns. If you have a pattern that you want to see tied, please let us know and we'll take care of it. So, thanks everyone. Have a good one.